Hey there everyone, this is Joe in General, your resident reason and evidence enthusiast. It's your weekly Bitcoin price analysis update. It is Saturday, the 9th of December 2017. Yes, I know it's been 11 days since my last Bitcoin analysis when it was just popping over $10,000. My apologies, very busy in the Joe in General household in the last week or so. But I'm here right now. It's actually technically just over midnight for me on Sunday, so I'm going to try and keep this video as brief as I can, but I do have a little bit to talk about. Quickly, new subscribers, of course, 7,558 in total right now. Welcome to all the newbies. Hit that big red subscribe button right there if you want to join the family. I know you do. So I think I'm going to entitle this video something like up or down, something like that, and I'll talk about why in a second. I'm kind of on the fence as to where the price may be going from here, but we'll talk about where it might be going both up and both down. But as usual, I like to do a quick recap of the previous video. This is this one right here. And again, we just pushed over 10,000. So this was the celebratory woohoo $10,000 video. But can you believe where the price has gone now? We'll talk about that in a sec. But I was talking about right here a couple of things, and this key Fibonacci level from the old high of 1163, the old low of 152.40, this 11.089 Fibonacci extension of around about, it was 11,400. Now this is where I thought it might have an area of resistance. I thought it might be the big one before we see a dip back down to the $8,000 level. I also said in this video here that 8,000 would definitely be revisited. We have yet to see that, but we'll talk about that in a sec as well. I don't think that's necessarily completely off the cards as of yet, but we'll talk about it in a sec. But when I did some Fibonacci from this high and this low, and I think it was this high and this low as well, a couple of key Fibonacci points hovered around that same 11,400, 11,600 level. So that's why I thought it was going to be at least an area of resistance. So we'll show you what happened with the chart. And well, obviously we'll talk about where the price has actually gone to. You guys know because you follow the price. But all the way up to 16,667 US dollars, of course. And don't forget, this is the Bitstamp exchange price. Now, on CoinMarketCap, this is Populous, by the way. Hey, how are you in Populous? If you're not in Populous, you need to be in Populous. Let me just refresh this. Quick bit of a segue right here. $29.61 US cents. Holy hell. If you're in Populous, congratulations. But anyway, I was just refreshing that earlier today. Let's see, Bitcoin, let's go right here. Now, Bitcoin technically did hit over the $20,000 mark right here on the markets. It did it, and it's obviously it's not there right now, but it did it in the South Korean markets. All the South Korean markets. It was Bithumb, it was Coin One, I think it's, what's the other one called? Corbit, this one down here. They all hit over the $20,000 mark. It was close actually. I think it hit over 22,000, but that was in that markets. I think it was the only markets that hit over 20,000. Most were still underneath. But of course, this is the Bitstamp exchange price. So I like to try and keep it consistent. So 16,667. I've had this retracement back down to about 1,350 roughly. But what I did want to mention, because I was just talking about it before, is that 11,400 to 11,600 range. This is the weekly. We'll just quickly go to the daily. Just want to quickly show you this out of interest. Right here, so $10,000. This is on the daily time frame. Here's your 8,000. This is where we were when we pushed up 10,300 and something is where we were when I made that $10,000 video. And this is that area right here of that 11,400. And as you can see on the daily time frame, we did have a decent level of resistance right here at that point. A retracement back down to under 10,000, but since then, whoop, all the way up to that $16,667 mark. So we'll go back over here for a second, and I want to punch into the 1 hour to talk about what the price is doing right now. Now, we had a setup which is actually just broken a few hours ago. Let me just get this right here. That's 16 right there. We had this symmetrical triangle pattern happening. It was happening from there. I did it from there and to there. It's actually hovering around about, excuse me, hovering around about here. Maybe I'll put that on the half an hour. Maybe that's a little easier for you guys. Right here, and so we're in this symmetrical triangle pattern. It had not broken out to the downside or the upside just yet, but it looks like it has broken down to the downside. Let me do that a little bit better. That one right there. It has broken down to the downside, but we have seen a little bit of support here at this particular line. In fact, this particular line seems to have been, if you can see it, I can, but maybe I'm just, maybe it's confirmation bias, but I can see it was a little bit of support here. It was certainly a bit of support here as well, and it's seeming like it's a bit of support here as well of this trend channel, the top end of this trend channel right here. You guys are very familiar with it. Let me get rid of that and that so you can see it a little better. Again, this is on the daily time frame. This is the bitcoinwisdom.com website. So we have this trend channel here, which just got completely blasted through. We didn't even see resistance here, which I suggested we could potentially do at that $14,600 mark. Nope, straight through to 16. However, you can see now this is the top end of this trend channel. We are seeming to have a little bit of support there. However, let's talk about the price if the price goes down, because as I said before, we did see recently a break of that symmetrical triangle. If the price does break down further from here, if this is the top for a little bit, the 16,667, where could we break down to? A couple of quick levels, of course. You've got this level here of 1350. You've got some support levels on the way down. Let's have a quickly little look at that. You've got possibly here, definitely here would be a potential support level at that 11,800. You could comfortably call that 12,000, I guess. So we'd say sort of 1350, 12,000 may be your next target. Absolutely the $10,000 psychological barrier. What you might see is if it comes down, it's a very big if. I'm on the fence of whether it's going to go higher from here or down from here. That's why I'm sort of covering my bases right now. But that $10,000 psychological barrier will be huge. And if you want to know how huge it would be, what you could do, you could go over to a website such as Poloniex, and on Poloniex and Bittrex as well. Bittrex does the same thing, but Poloniex has their market depth, and these are all the buy orders and all the sell orders, and you can see a sell walls and buy walls. So what you can see here, for example, on the sell side, you've got a lot of people, or a decent amount of Bitcoin here at the $25,000 sell target, but down here, if you notice right here, see that little wall there? That's the $10,000 barrier. So people are stacking up some buy orders right here. So I think if the price was to go down even further from where it is at the moment, I think you would see this wall get larger. That's in my opinion, because it's a giant psychological barrier. So you've got that $10,000 mark, of course, and breaking down from 10,000, I don't think 8,000 is out of the question yet. I really don't, because if this is the big dip, a move down to about 8,000, you could call it between 8,000 to 8,500, maybe 9,000, is around about a 50% retracement. That's certainly not out of the realm of possibility when you have a large retracement off a high, particularly coming off quite a parabolic move, it seemed. So I think 8,000 is not out of the picture. So just keep that in the back of your mind. If you are looking to get into Bitcoin for the first time, the very first time, if you're watching this video and you've never bought Bitcoin before, you've never bought a cryptocurrency and you're stumbling on this video, I doubt there would be a lot of you stumbling on this video if you've never bought cryptos before. But if you haven't, just in case, I would consider just buying now, just in case the price does go up from here and we don't see a large price dip. maybe buy a little bit now and see where the price goes. If it comes down, then dollar cost average down, buy a bit more as it goes down. And maybe if you buy a little bit here and the price starts to rise and break this level, well, then you could see that's a confirmation that the price could be going higher, so then you buy a bit more. Does that make sense? So that's just for the real newbie who has never bought crypto before. Of course, if you're someone who's looking to buy more, well, those were those targets that I think I said about 12,000, 1350 said 12,000, $10,000 barrier, and 8,000 is not out of the realm of possibility. So that's on the downside. And let's talk about the upside. And the upside's a little bit harder to determine because there's no prices to go with. There's no resistance levels, of course, but we can use the Fibonacci like we've been using previous. I'll take this back out to the weekly time frame. Right here, bear with me, gang. There we go, that's close enough for jazz. Now what I've done is I've added in a few more Fibonacci levels, again from the old high of 1163 and the old low of 152.40. Let me just get a drink of water, excuse me. Keeping this really live here, no editing. Got to make this video and get the hell to bed. So, 3 extra levels right here. And I'm still using the old high of 1163, the old low of 152.40, because this is the first high and low, or the major high and low since having a parabolic rise up from, where was that? It was from $132 all the way up to 1163. That was a parabolic move right there. You can see that, very parabolic. We've had a couple of parabolic moves, this one here, that one there to a degree, that one there definitely, but we have yet to see in this whole bull run up here a parabolic rise. Could we be in that parabolic rise now? That's quite potential. So that's why I'm on the fence as to whether we're up or down. But that's why I still use this, excuse me, 1163 and 152.40. So here are the levels. Excuse me. As I said before, we had that resistance level at 11,400. That was a level of resistance, if you notice, not on the weekly, but it was on the daily for sure. Now coming up from here, the 17.942 Fibonacci level from this high and this low is at 18,283. I think you could comfortably call that the psychological barrier of 20,000. So anywhere between there and a pierce above 20,000 could be the next level before we have a retracement back down. If we break, and it's a big if, but if we break up further from here, if this is truly a parabolic rise before a big dip, then the next Fibonacci level is here at 29,488 roughly. You could comfortably call that 30,000. And if this is a parabolic rise, it wouldn't surprise me in a parabolic rise if you were to hit up to this level here of 47,618. You could comfortably call that, I guess, anywhere between 45 to 50,000, although I think that's a big if. Really depends if this is a parabolic rise, but a move to here definitely would not surprise me. To 20,000 wouldn't be surprising at all. If you go back to the Poloniex website with the market depth, you could potentially even see it's quite flat here on the 20,000. All the way up to 25,000 could even be it. But where are we? Back here. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we hit here before I have a retracement. It would be pleasantly surprising if we hit 30,000 before we have a retracement. I would be surprised if we hit 50,000, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, as I said before, retracement would not surprise me if we retraced back down to the 8,000 level. Now, interestingly, that seems to be hovering around about here at the 18 average of highs. I talked about that in the last video. So $8,000 at around about the 18 average of highs right there, or the tip of the high right there. You can see we did it just there. We tend, when we have a big retracement, to come back down to the 18 average of lows, but we haven't done it here, and it doesn't mean we wouldn't do it here either. So that's around about that 8,000. So that's my fence sitting video, and I apologize that I'm not being more more direct or more making more of a definite call. But it's how I see the market right now. It's just I'm judging it on what I see the price doing at the moment. Although I would take into account that we just did see that little break of that symmetrical triangle. So if I had to say, you know, not 50-50, if I had to say 51 to 49%, which way would I go? Just simply because, and I could absolutely be wrong, but just simply because of that break of that symmetrical triangle pattern that I showed you before to the downside, 51% chance that we're going down, 49% chance we are going up to the down targets I mentioned, possibly to the up targets I mentioned. Of course, I'm going to do more videos this week. I will try and do another Bitcoin video this week to make up for the fact that I didn't do it for 11 days. So I'll try and do a midweek. I'll try and do a second video this week on Bitcoin. And of course, there's other stuff I need to talk about. I have to do a video on Populus coming up that I was mentioning just before. Good old PPT. We had a massive price rise, and the beta version of the website is coming out very soon, so I've got to do a video on Populus. I also want to do a video on Ether Delta. That's a trading website and exchange, and I'm going to do a video on how not to trade on Ether Delta, and because there has been some pretty big mistakes made and people have lost a lot of money. So I want to do a how not to trade Ether Delta video. That's coming up soon as well. And of course, you know, I do Ethereum. I will be doing a Litecoin video soon. I've had some requests for Litecoin. So I'll be doing my best to get as many videos I can out this week, given my usual Joe in General schedule. All right, that's it, gang. I'm going to leave it at that. Stay safe, stay informed. Speak soon.